Hey everyone. There was this great event that happened on Wing Chun News Group, which is why I like to go in there. So one of the Sifus who wears a sash did a wooden dummy demo video, and it was awesome. Had the stuff on the dummy, right? Modified dummy form, and then he did it with a partner. And you could go, oh, I see it. I disagree with what he did, but not like how he did it. It was all legit what he did. I just disagree on whether that's the dummy section or not. So I didn't comment on it, and I liked it, right? And then it got better, because then another Sifu Jason, saw all the rubbish talk in the comments, and like 2 hours after he posted, or I don't know, I should look at the times again, but it was 2 hours on my thing. He had a dummy video up for the same section, and he was showing an answer to one of the comments. So the first video didn't have the answer in it because of the way the guy did his video, and it was a good question. And then Sifu Jason did his, and he had the way he demoed it. It was the guy was really throwing some haymakers, and he was blocking the haymakers as he stepped backwards really hard. And it did counter the other guy's comment of, oh, any real trained boxer would like go boom, 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 right? But the boxer wasn't going boom, boom, boom. The boxer was just going boom really hard. And he stepped back to avoid if the boxer was doing a fake with two other booms, okay? So lots of you watched both of those, I'm sure, and I had my comment, and it gets, right? So this video is going to show you how WT from Xigong Longting through Germany with Sifu Kernspect and through Sifu Emin and many others is different within the same thing, right? I'm sure WC might have the same thing somewhere else in WT. So what we're talking about is not whether you have it or not, but that is this the section of the wooden dummy or is it not? All right, so Isaiah's got his hands up, and I go to get him. This is a Paxao against some. I'm gonna change the camera. All right, Poon Sao. So from Poon Sao, right there, indoor Paxao along the suspenders line, as Sifu Richter calls it. And what am I doing? I'm pressing into his Paxao, and I'll make a Fuxao to show you the pressure, right? I'm gonna get something like that again. I'm gonna try to get him up here, and I'm gonna catch his hand because he can do it to me, right? Yeah, there's a terrible one. He's gonna hit down low right there for me, Isaiah. So there's your hit underneath. That's straight out of the section. And this is really close to my face, right? So I go over, and then there is your all right. So that is a literal application from the wooden dummy set. But all of the dummy literature and lessons tell you we never do the application exactly like the move in the dummy form. So always, anybody can know that. We can train it in Chi Sao exactly, but the application is not. And I'll get into the details of that later. And if you think about it, Chi Sao is not exactly how we're going to fight either, right? There's no forward step. We're agreeing to stick. We're stopping on target. All right, next up, let's see. So if Isaiah came over with a chop up here like that, and I caught him up here like that, and there was another one, right? Stepping back. And one more, Isaiah. Boom, like that. This was the gist of the application that they did. And as I said, that's from this part of the dummy. I got Isaiah sleepy today, so I can make us look good. All right, next up, it's a Lotsow application set. So people get lost in the low punch part of it. But if we look at Lotsow, right, that's on the inside arm of the dummy. And then my next one, let's do Paxow, Lotsow from Germany, right? So there's the inside arm of the dummy. There's the inside arm of the dummy for him. And I try to go low, right? And he can do his Gonsau to block low. And he goes with his high punch, and I have an indoor pack. So now there's an indoor pack if we wanted to do it this way. All right? So those are semi-literal. But this punch and this Paxow is like this on the dummy, but it's like this in application. And then if I go a little harder inside, I give him a gemotetry. Alright, so there's your Fuchsau to gemotetry. And then on the first one, he even did the punch as a follow-up. So if he did a wooden dummy grade punch, in quotes, it would be a chop, right? So if I go for this, he would chop me right here. There you go. So, that looked good on camera too, right there. So I get it here, and then freeze right there, yeah. He's got pressure on my shoulder here. If I try to come up, he could twist right back to the jump a little bit and shove me down, yeah. So I'll add a little of that pressure on this one. So if I change it as he's chopping at me, he can lower it. I don't think he knows where, there we go. Had to make it real. So it's stuck in that whole surface as I try to go in here and he starts to do his hit. I separated us. He's aware if I'm getting through and he can drop his arm. You cannot do that without training that impulse first. Just be my dummy, right? You can't train people to chop the throat first. Right? Because the chain puncher's just going to punch up inside and just bap, bap, bap. Ouch. Right? We train the gemotetry first. Right? So I'm trying to get Isaiah's face, and he's got to learn that gemotetry first. Right? Not the chop to my face first, because if he lifts his elbow up, there's a hole right there. Right? So this is first. And then if he wants to do a Paxow now, he's got the feeling under here. If I try to come inside, his gemotetry is still there, and he can change the wrist. Right? He could probably turn his wrist all the way like that and still have a gemotetry and poke me with his thumb because he does a screamer. All right. I got him on the bricks. Oh man, right in the nose. I shouldn't do a screamer with Isaiah. He's better at that than me because of this teacher. Okay. Lastly, the dummy itself. We see it. I call this the Chinese heavy bag, right? It's a strength training drill. When you get to the canvas bag and start punching it, it's to make your strength increase. Right? You can punch in the air all you want. Give me a hand, Isaiah. Right? Just that palm, right? You can punch in the air, but once you start running into something, it gives you problems, right? So you got to learn how to stick onto it. And that's going down into my body. And then we have the wall bag. It doesn't move, and you move. And then we've got the heavy bag with the gi on it back there. Strengthens the sinews. So that wouldn't, the Chinese heavy bag has the arms and leg to sinew strengthen off of actual techniques. It's not just, Isaiah is a partner. This is like sparring, right? This is moves, and the dummy's not for that kind of movement. The dummy is for resistance, just like doing a curl, right? Or a tricep extension against weight. I'd be against gravity, right? So tricep extension against the resistance of the form. Strength training. So the Fuchsau shape is a strength training shape for a punch. Bam! Is strengthened by that move. And if you don't do it, your elbow is going to always be flared out because you don't have this flexibility. And whenever you try to do a punch like that, your elbow is up and there's a hole right there. So when I try to go to get Isaiah, he's going to be the winner, and my elbow, he'd be the winner. My elbow's flared, there's no Jumsau, right? And then as I do Fuchsau, it got rid of my elbow flare, and it got him off of my face. It also has a hook on it. Later you can use it for a technique, right? So when I go to throw a jab, I have this Jumsau sensitivity, right? So if my jab gets through, no problem, right? But if my jab encounters something, there's a Jumsau in there. And the Fuchsau is how my Jumsau got strong. As I do the chop, the contact is still in here. And again, I don't want to break my own hand on the dummy. So when I do these down low, I'm getting a distance for dummy training where I don't break my own hand. So if I got in too close, I have extension left. I'm going to break my hand. This, that, and that. So that distance and that distance set me up. Next up, this is Paxau, and I don't have to follow the inside of the dummy rule. This could be the outside of somebody's arm. Paxau punch, Paxau punch. All right, so these Paxaus we know from Lotzau and the WT stuff. So this is getting my motion set up for doing my WT Lotzau outside, inside. And again, that brings us to the dummy concept that nothing on the dummy is exactly like combat. And most of the dummy is a protractor effect into our stance and turn for footwork. So even though this is pretty straight and it doesn't have footwork in it, it's following the sequential progressive model of our form introduction idea, that these introductions from the start are now going to be carried within the rest of the form and applications. So if I do something like this, the energy needed if there was contact on my hand was covered in section 3. And then when I do something that has any of these moves, I'm doing a strength exercise here. It's a strength exercise, and this is a soft flow. So I've done this set. It's a strength exercise. So that when I do these with the soft flow, all right, last, the demo the other group did, they were doing the application of this move. Great application for this long move. They were doing a block on a chopping hand. The set is up in here for a reason. What? Someone come in while I was talking.